lot of people have that one game that they always come back to. Some people maybe Minecraft, others maybe Fortnite or even Apex, whatever. There is that one game that they always come back to after a while. To me, it was sword fighting. And no, not Rec Room, because I'm going to be fully honest with you. I don't care about Rec Room at all. But let's start from the beginning. Like many people before me, this is where I started, in paintball. I would go on and off and play sometimes, but Rec Room wasn't really my thing. If it was just for paintball, I would have not stayed in Rec Room for long. Then one day, I found out about this dojo, exactly like this. This was a time where I was confused, and honestly, I was making fun of the people around me because everything that they were doing seemed so silly. But then I got into it because one person that was next to me said to me how my spins were huge, and that made my ego burn. Again, I was 16 or 17 when I got into this game. I was an egotistical little teen, and when someone said something about me fighting and I was just doing random shit, of course I stayed around. I wanted to become better at this. Time passed and I became better and better at it. And eventually I started getting into the community. I wasn't a big name or anything like that, and no one really knew me. Since my name is Mug, people started confusing me with another person that was in that community. However, I started really loving this game and really enjoying the mechanics that it brought in, even though they were all non-intentional because Rec Room doesn't care about PvP with swords. They never cared about any of that. But it worked, and it worked. It worked. The first video that I've ever made is right here. Yes, I made that video and it got me 2k views. It was a video about sword fighting and how back in the day people just used to drag crazy style because of a place. Because of one simple place. Welcome to the Sword Summit. This is where everyone, or mostly everyone, learned about sword fighting. Isn't that great? This was one of the most popular rooms back in the day where most people would come to. Everyone would complain about lag and complain about the hitboxes being terrible, but somehow we just never changed. We never went to another room, which is crazy to me because we just stayed and we sucked here. And I think we stayed because so much people were here. You know, one of the reasons that sword fighting was so popular back in the day, well, now it's, as you can see, not a lot of people around me, but back in the day, it was a way to socialize with people. The better you became, the more you could talk about it and the more you could make strategies about it with your friends. The more you could talk about, I mean, that's kind of cringy, but you could talk about styles and ways to engage in the enemy and movement and all that, and it was just great. It was a great way to make friends and a great game to be around in the time that it was great. However, you're probably asking yourself if you've never been here, which 99% of you would never know what this is about. How did the gameplay look like? And here, I'll show you. Before I begin explaining this, please take in mind that we were kids. No one really knows how sword fighting worked. It was kind of all just speculation, but for the most part, the things I'm going to say are the most consistent way I found out about sword fighting throughout like 4 years of doing it in Recroom. That's kind of sad. Anyways, yes, yes.
That's crazy.
Alright, while you watch the video, I'm going to be explaining to you every single basic of sword fighting. Let's get started. Also, if you want to watch the entire video unedited, I'm going to leave it in the description if you just want to watch sword fighting. If you don't care about a guide, if you don't care how it works, it will be in the description.
Hey, you know what you do?
First, let's talk about movement. Movement is the most complicated part about sword fighting, because most people that use movement, they use their hands, so they can run to all the way around you, so you can be faster while in a sword fight. In a sword fight, it is important that you do not walk forward all the time, because if you're walking forwards, you're making your body completely vulnerable, while you only have the blocking way of your center. Yes, you can block to the sides, but they're not as consistent, and they are not going to save you as many times as just looking forward and pointing the sword at your opponent, like this.
Oh. Maybe I should lean too then.
While walking backwards, you become almost invulnerable to every single attack because of just how lag works. In the opponent's screen, you are here, but in your screen, you would be here already, or you would be here. It is that simple. It's how lag works in every single game. And in your opponent's screen, they hit you, but in your screen, you are completely out of the way already. So you become almost invulnerable. In the topic of movement, a side note. While walking backwards and striking, it makes your sword big. It makes your sword longer, let's say. Because if you're walking forward, your sword is going into your body. But if you're walking backwards, your sword is going away from you. So think of it as like a string on a wall. Essentially, if you go against that string, the string is going to get closer to the wall. But if you back away, that string is going to get away from the wall. So you're potentially just bringing something with you from that wall. And if you swing with that thing, it's going to give you more range than if you were to swing that rope while you were walking to the wall. That is a really weird comparison, but it's the best one I could get. It's essentially, when you walk away, bigger. When you go in, shorter. It is good to remember that jumping makes your hitbox bigger, so don't do it.
That's it, I'm locked in now. I'm lying, I'm not locked in.
Let's talk about how hitboxes work now. You have 3 main parts. Your head, your torso, and your legs. Which are kind of like here. They're kind of invisible. You won't really see. It's weird to explain. The best way to hit your opponent is conditioning. Conditioning means that I'm going to your lower parts of your body and then quickly strike to your face. Going like this, slowly going towards your lower torso, and then quickly hit your head. Hitboxes in sword fighting can be a little finicky, and sometimes when you hit really, really fast, it doesn't work. Because, you know, Rec Room. But sometimes, and honestly, in my opinion, most times, it will definitely work in your favor. Striking can be done in a multitude of ways because it's VR. I can literally strike you upside down if I wanted to. And that's the fun of this game, is just creating those fun drags, those fun attacks, and all those crazy things. For example, I can go for a spin or anything crazy like that, go like this, and then whoa, spin and shit like that. It's cool, it's fun, and it's cool. Striking only comes to your creativity and trying to get around your opponent's block. In the topic of blocking, let's talk about blocking. Blocking as an active and a passive parry phase. Let's start with the basics of that. First of all, when your opponent's sword hits your sword and your sword is more still than theirs, this is actually one thing that I don't like at all, because a lot of people will just stand still with the sword in front of them so then they can get invulnerability frames and then hit you, but you know. When their sword hits yours and yours is more still than theirs, your entire body becomes invulnerable for a little second. In that little second, you can counter riposte, or just, you know, back away. Striking only works if your sword hits them on their screen. That's why movement is so important. If I'm moving around and in your screen you hit me, but in my screen I'm completely over here and you're just swinging in the air wildly, nothing will happen, because in my screen I'm completely safe. That is something that I really enjoy about this game, because other sword fighting games, Broken Edge, a lot of the hits can be completely bullshit and not be anything like you saw in your screen at all. So having that system of you only get hit if you get hit in your screen is very fun, and it is very balanced. For the most part.
Cautious when finding new people, because like you never know what kind of tricks they have up their sleeve.
The best way to advance on your opponent is to check them. Check them meaning that I don't want you to go right, so I'm checking you right. I don't want you to go left, so I'm checking you left. It's simple as that. And you can also incorporate conditioning into this. If the opponent is going wildly into my left, I'm gonna start conditioning to my left, like this, like up, and then left, and then left, and then left, and then up. And I can wildly swing to my right. So because they're used for me to striking on the left, and they're walking to the left, walking in the left, I can strike rapidly to the right. Simple as that. And now you might be asking, why are you making a tribute about something that you just did? Something that you have fun, something that you just explained is so much fun. And here's the sad part. On June 3rd of 2025, Recroom pushed an update where they completely disabled the old Bean avatar. This made it so playing Recroom Swordfighting was completely impossible because of the hitboxes. The hitboxes are not the same anymore. They're completely all over the place, and the delays are unplayable. It is completely out of this world to play Recroom Swordfighting right now. If you were to play and you swing, 5 minutes later the guy dies. It's completely unplayable. And if you see from the other parts of this video, I went to the worlds in a public world. I was in a public world. No one was there. No one. I was hoping that in the middle of the video I would catch someone, but nothing. Absolutely nothing. Making this video is very hard to me because this place, these places, this community, this everything was just so good and such a heartwarming experience. The amount of just fun things that I've done with friends and the amount of fun that I had just goofing around and finding new ways to play the game was just something that I'll never experience again. Although I think that VR is going on a very good way right now, and it's going up and up and up with new releases and fun games coming out, sword fighting is something that I'm just going to miss so much, and something that I think no other game could replicate. If there's someone out there that knows about Recroom sword fighting and knows about all of this and knows this community, please, I would love to be in a project where we bring this back to life in a different game. I don't know if that's illegal, I'm gonna be honest, and I don't know if that's a realistic thing, but if there's a way out there that we could replicate this entire game, well, not to a peak, because then it would just be Rec Room, but to replicate this entire system of sword fighting in a different game, I would cry. But in all seriousness, I will miss this place, because it's something that I hold so deep to me, something that I made so many friends on, and something that I always came back to, something that I always played. And now it's the end. No one there anymore, and no one to deal with the shitty things about this game. Rec Room is going also in a downhill, but as I said, I never really cared about Rec Room all that much. I'm gonna be honest, every time I got on Rec Room, it was just for the sword fighting, and then I went out. And that's that. I'm not gonna comment about Rec Room because I don't care about it. It's sad, and it's difficult to accept something that I've done over 4 years is over. It's kind of like Battlefield Bad Company again if you think about it, but it was fun. And to the people that know about sword fighting, that are very rare and probably are not watching this video at all, but it's something that we can hold that other people will never hold in their memories. It was a really good time. In the end, after practicing and wasting hours and days of my life and skipping school just to see new ways to sword fight, in the end, it was all worthless. Or was it? I don't know. That's not up for me to decide. I guess I'll realize that in time. In the end, all I know is that we were all Summit kids.